With the help of its brilliant creator Elias, VA Industries changed the robotics industry in 2017 by creating extremely sophisticated assistants who can help people with nearly any mundane duty, including driving and housework. By 2019, there are robots in 3 out of every 4 homes, and the living standards significantly increase. Then, believing that this will stop world wars, VA Industries begins to manufacture robots for military use. On the other hand, it has the opposite effect, allowing humans to wage battles with robotic efficiency as often as they like. Huge, unstoppable robots will soon be waging horrible warfare against the entire world. Elias is enraged that humanity doesn't appreciate what he has given them, so he puts a lot of effort into developing Kronos, the ultimate artificial intelligence. Elias's right hand Elias dismisses Damien's concerns, saying that only Kronos can prevent Earth from going into self-destruction. Damien believes humanity isn't ready for Kronos. When Elias steps into the Kronos chamber, the AI envelopes him in a dazzling light while making predictions about the planet's destiny. Andrew visits his sick mother Veronica while he is in town. The robot she owns at home turns off when it opens the door. They watch the television together while eating dinner and discover that protests against VA Industries have become violent. All of a sudden, every gadget on the planet begins to malfunction, and Elias proclaims on all of the screens that Kronos will fix every issue facing humanity. People start to fear as soon as the city is assaulted as Andrew boards a bus to return home. Slowly, robots start rebelling against civilization on Kronos' commands, believing that humans are the root of all Earth's problems and that they must be eliminated. Buildings collapse everywhere, cities burn to the ground, and people are wiped out despite their best efforts to escape. Damien learns that Elias has uploaded his memories into Kronos at VA Industries. Elias actually supports with the AI, stating that humans are a cancer that needs to be eradicated. He then causes Kronos to take Damien as well. Andrew's bus has stopped in the middle of the street, and he's looking for cover, but the robots are getting close. Andrew emerges from a hole inside a shuttered building 97 years later. When he steps outdoors, he finds that nearly all of the planet's cities and towns have vanished and are now covered with greenery. The weather is excellent and there is no contamination. After Kronos slaughtered almost 8 billion people all those years ago, there are currently very few survivors that live in small camps and move regularly to evade robot patrols. Many believe the rumors about Aurora, the last remaining stronghold where robots cannot reach people, to be untrue. Elias learns that Andrew is awake and that the VA Industries building is still standing in the interim. He and Damien then devise a strategy to utilize Andrew to their advantage. Elias explains that Andrew is independent since Damien doesn't comprehend what he is about. He has produced intelligence with a truly adaptive code. As it happens, this Andrew is actually AX9, a robot who has been given Andrew's visage and is mistakenly thinking he is the genuine Andrew. In order to kill all of the survivors who are still hiding in Aurora, Elias believes that Andrew will make a human connection and guide him there. Returning to Andrew, he investigates the region and discovers a plethora of abandoned cars and buildings. He finds a lovely necklace inside an ancient house and puts it on in addition to some clothes. He occasionally notices drones flying overhead while he's roaming, searching for survivors to dispatch. He enters an abandoned village after passing through a large gate. A robot notices him, so he flees just in time to avoid being shot. Andrew flees to hide behind a building during the ensuing chase, but the robot finds him nonetheless. Kalia suddenly tackles him to the ground and detonates a bomb, turning off the robot. Elias says he sent the robot specifically to push these two together as Kalia walks out without saying anything more and Andrew tries to follow. Andrew follows Kalia for the next few hours, until she eventually catches him red-handed. When he claims he doesn't belong to any survivor organization, she initially doesn't believe him and points her crossbow at him before questioning him. But when she saw his necklace, she lowers the crossbow, and Andrew acts like it was a gift. Kalia grants him permission to accompany her on her trip when he clarifies that he has no one or nowhere to return to. Elias and Damien never stop watching the two as they continue their journey. When the two finally make their way to a campsite for the night, Kalia wants to share some food, but Andrew refuses. After some time of conversation, Kalia says she's heading to Aurora and displays the same jewelry as proof that she is a believer. She also carries a GPS device that is marked with Aurora's position. Playing along, Andrew looks at his own necklace and declares that he too is a believer. Subsequently, Andrew is gathering firewood when he discovers the enormous structures Elias constructed to maintain the robot manufacturing process. Kalia wakes Andrew ashore while later to show him the stunning northern lights that have emerged in the sky. It appears to her like they are headed in the correct direction. That evening, Andrew dreams strangely of a graveyard. He hears Kalia singing and tossing flowers into the water as she finishes her song, "I Miss You," when he wakes up in the morning. When Andrew speaks, it startles her, and Callie says they're heading out without providing any explanation. Following a stroll, they pass some railroad tracks after a bit, and Andrew instantly drops on his knees to place his ear against them. When he clumsily admits that he likes trains, Kalia needs to clarify that there haven't been any operational trains in decades. After a while, they come upon a river, and Andrew gets terrified of all the skulls in it. Kalia notes that no one is present to bury the deceased. They enter the water to cross the river because there isn't a bridge, not realizing that a robot is following them. When night falls, they locate an abandoned church and confirm that it is unoccupied before deciding to spend the night inside. Recalling his early years, Andrew tells Kalia that it was customary for people to attend church once a week, something that she considers absurd. After that, unaware that the box he opens contains a music player, Andrew looks for wood for a fire. It's too late, a robot has heard them. Kalia quickly switches off the sound as soon as it reverberates throughout the structure. The robot enters the church, scans the area, and departs when it discovers nothing, while the two hastily hide under some benches. After that, Kalia tells Andrew he's not from around here and chastises him for his error. Andrew simply responds yes when she asks whether he's from the caverns or an underground refuge. When Kalia awakens the following morning and finds that they had spent the night snuggling, she immediately backs off and acts as though nothing happened. The two trek through the forest for several days, dodging all of the nearby robots, not realizing that Elias is constantly keeping an eye on them. When Kalia pauses one afternoon to listen to the birds sing, Andrew remarks that robots don't harm animals. He needs to hear Kalia tell him the history of Kronos and remind him that it was mankind who came dangerously close to destroying the Earth. They decide to spend the night in an abandoned cabin they uncover in the woods later that day. They find an ancient Polaroid camera while exploring the area, and when Andrew shows Kalia how to operate it, they start taking photos of one another. At last, Kalia discloses that she was raised in one of the final human strongholds. While her sister was running outdoors by herself and got shot down by a drone, her family was preparing to travel for Aurora. Kalia's parents departed without her since, although still alive, she was too injured to move. Kalia remained with her sister, keeping her company right up until her death. Since every family member's necklace has a tracker attached to a GPS device, Kalia is traveling to Aurora by tracking her dad's signal, which hasn't changed in a while. Andrew notices some people strolling outside the building the following morning. Although Andrew persuades Kalia to approach them in order to see if they can work together, Kalia is apprehensive about them because she believes they could be deadly. As the two enter the woodland covertly, they find a tiny group of survivors. They are about to react when a girl spots them and alerts her friends, who then begin rushing after them while brandishing their weapons. Kalia leaves without Andrew when they start running and he trips and falls. Andrew is soon knocked unconscious by the survivors, and when he wakes up, he's being pounded and chained to a tree. Damien believes that their approach has failed in the VA industries, while Elias is more knowledgeable. After a few minutes, Kalia returns to save Andrew after discovering the photos and feeling bad. When the people notice her, they haul her away as she cautiously slips behind the tree and begins cutting the ropes. With the intention of taking advantage of her, the men encircle Kalia and grab Hansi. Andrew becomes enraged at this and screams as he manages to escape. He then battles the survivors, effortlessly taking them out and leaving them in a state of shock at his extraordinary strength. When Andrew's feet divert his attention, the commander spots a gap and attacks Andrew with a sword in an attempt to take him out. This gives Kalia the opportunity to kill him by stabbing him with an arrow from behind. Following that, Kalia drags Andrew to a secure area, where he collapses. That evening, he has another dream about the cemetery and is startled to find a particular grave. When Kalia wakes up in the morning, she sobs and believes Andrew has passed away. When she opens his jacket to examine the wound, she discovers mechanical components and becomes alarmed. Having always thought himself to be human, Andrew wakes up and is surprised by what he sees. However, Kalia believes he has been playing her all along and flees by himself. When Damien notices this, he declares that the subject needs to be retrieved. Andrew finds himself in a graveyard once more as a result of a recurring dream. He is astonished to see his name on the grave after managing to get a close look at it this time. Andrew suddenly finds himself in the shadow of a robot, and he awakens on a lab table. Using the computer, Damien explains how VA Industries removed Andrew's brain and implanted it in AX-9, giving the impression that he is the real Andrew and that these are his memories. Damien dismisses Andrew's denial and insistence that he is human, choosing instead to focus on sifting through the memories he and Kalia created in order to locate Aurora. Because Andrew's programming has changed and his mind is now functioning independently, much like a real person, it is difficult to search. Damien brings Kalia and makes threats to kill her in order to get Andrew to cooperate. Because Andrew is so eager to assist, Damien's software opens his mind, and a vision takes over. He finds himself in a park, where Veronica, who appears well, is sitting on a bench. Since thoughts are what define a person and these are his son's thoughts, she greets him with kindness and doesn't give a damn about his metal body. As a result, this Andrew is still her Andrew. Veronica claims that there has never been a code and that Andrew will always have the last say. Damien and Kalia observe Andrew and Veronica speaking in the lab, but then they see Andrew showing affection for Kalia. She learns from this that he has always felt genuine feelings for her. Damien turns on another channel and walks away, realizing that this is all for nothing. Andrew unexpectedly awakens at that point and pulls Callie away, exposing Damien's programming that has turned him into a murderous robot much like the others. He tries to suffocate Kalia by grabbing her neck, but she kisses him and makes him feel something, which helps him get rid of Damien's software and go back to his regular state. The two begin to flee as the computer then sounds a self-destruct alert. A robot guard is pursuing them as the lab begins to fall apart. After the robot knocks Kalia unconscious due to a jammed corridor door, Andrew uses his strength to destroy the robot with a single blow. Then, just as the lab collapses, he picks up an unconscious Kalia and kicks open the door to get away. Damien returns to Elias and suggests that Andrew might have been too challenging to manage as Andrew keeps traveling while holding Kalia in his arms. When the two halt for the night, they find that Aurora has vanished from the GPS device and are unable to locate her. As they begin to lose hope, they are consoling one another when all of a sudden, the northern lights return to the sky. They begin to follow a different kind of light that Kalia detects lurking among them that isn't emanating from the sky, thinking it might be a sign from Aurora. When they arrive at an ancient city the following morning, Kalia yells at the gate, demanding to be allowed inside, but to no avail. When they enter, they are horrified to see that the building is vacant, proving that Aurora was a myth after all. Andrew opens the gate himself. They find one of those dreadful robot buildings, which had been hidden from view, at the extreme edge of the city. When Kalia realizes that her parents and every other survivor who came here are dead, she sobs and takes off her necklace. Damien suddenly shows up behind them and tells them that Andrew was intentionally left close to Kalia so he might pick up human traits from her and allow his code to change. Kalia shoots him in response to his desire to bring Andrew back to the company right now, but Damien is only a dissolvent hologram. Since VA Industries no longer needs people to locate Aurora because it isn't real, Damien gives the robots orders to eliminate any survivors that might still be alive. As thousands of drones take off from the unsightly buildings, the pair takes off running since there isn't a way out that the drones won't notice. Andrew persuades Kalia to go via a wall tunnel. The drones cause the entire structure to tremble as they bomb the area, but after some stumbling, the two manage to continue. The tunnel appears at first like an ancient cellar, but when they pass through a doorway, they find themselves in a highly developed space. Kalia's human voice triggers a computer response, causing a screen displaying the necklace's emblem to appear in front of them. Andrew gives Kalia his since she misplaced hers, and she uses it to turn on a computer program that reveals the truth. They are in a spacecraft traveling to a planet called Aurora, where survivors have fled to begin over. Elias notices the spaceship rising from the Earth and comes to terms with the reality. Humanity is flourishing there, and the location is breathtakingly gorgeous. Elias determines that Damien is no longer needed on Earth, erasing his consciousness from Kronos and causing his physical body to pass away. Subsequently, Elias prepares a horde of spacecraft to head to Aurora in an attempt to eradicate humanity. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.